It looks like she's throwing in the towel when the Dems regained control in 2018. 16 party members signed a letter opposing Nancy Pelosi's speakership. But she came to an agreement that would limit her tenure as Speaker to 4 years. She wouldn't run again, is basically what she said, which earned her the support of many who were initially resistant to her leadership. Now, with the 22 midterm elections in sight, Pelosi, who's 81 now, is expected to leave her post at the end of the current Congress, which also leaves Dems planning for a leadership shift that may define their party for years to come. Here to weigh in is Minority Whip Steve Scalise. He's the Republican congressman from Louisiana, as I pointed out before the break, my friend as well. Congressman, thank you for being here. So,
yeah, great to be with you.
It's going to be fun.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I can't wait for this segment because I want to hear your thoughts on leadership. I think we all agree that Republicans are going to take the House in 22, but let's just play this game this out a little bit. She hands the gavel off to someone at some point before they turn it over to you. Who do you think that is? Who it will be? Or do you think she'll hang on to it?
Yeah, and look, I mean, this is a big parlor game being played in Washington. First, never count her out because, she said she was going to leave a few times and she hasn't. We're working really hard to get the House back, but there hasn't been an election yet. I wish it was tomorrow. We would run the table, but it's still not till November. And so, we're working on recruiting candidates, raising money. They're working on trying to ruin this country. And I think that's the biggest reason we're going to win the majority back is because they've gone so far to the big government socialist left, and we're working on those conservative policies people care about. Who would take her place, Eric, after she leaves? I think you're going to see a massive fight within the Democrat conference that they've been needing to have, probably wanting to have for over 20 years, because if you look at their leadership, the average age is probably in the low 80s. Our average age of our leadership is in the 50s. And so I think there's a next generation, in essence, that's been wanting to change out leadership for a long, long time, except Pelosi raises all their money. She probably raises $100 million every cycle, and there's nobody close to her. So the first question would be, who's going to step up and do that?
Who would, Congressman? Would it be? Is it one of the squad? Is it AOC? Does she want to do it? Is it Jayapal? Is it Hakeem Jeffries, whose name who's been floated? Or Schiff. I think that guy's a power hungry guy. He probably wanted that himself too, right?
Well, and Schiff is so toxic and radioactive and has so many problems of his own. But if you look, I think they're going to move further to the left, which ought to wake up everybody in America that thinks there's any moderates left in the Democrat Party. I mean, Pelosi used to be the bellwether of the left. She's a classic San Francisco liberal. Today, she's probably in the middle of their conference philosophically because the socialists have taken over. And so I do think it's going to be somebody further to the left of Pelosi. Anybody thinking there's any moderates or blue dogs left in the Democrat conference, please show them to me. Yeah. Every one of them has an F rating with National Right to Life, has an F rating with the NRA. They're not for anything that you and I are for. And so I think that far left shift is going to get even worse. And it shows you how out of touch they are. They don't learn from Virginia.
I'm also, Congressman, I'm also against their socialist tendencies. I mean, the squad, AOC, her green agenda would cost $100 trillion. She's a straight up socialist. She's a Bernie Sanders socialist.
And clearly they don't live by the way, they don't practice what they preach. They're out there. She flies down to Miami, hanging out on South Beach without a mask, hugging strangers while she's telling you to shut down the economy and, drive electric vehicles and, plug your vehicle into a tree or something. I mean, none of this stuff they talk about makes sense, but they don't care. They're wrecking the economy and the country's fed up with it.
Congressman, I don't want to lose this because this is my opportunity. Okay, you guys win the House. I'm confident you're going to win the House. You're going to win the House. Kevin McCarthy is the odds-on leader if he wants it, but there are rumblings of he may not be the best for the party. I know he's your friend. Tell me, who would be the Speaker of the House if you win it?
It'll be Kevin McCarthy. And, if you look, he's already been talking about the things that we're going to do to lay out a bold agenda. I think we ought to be Reagan-esque in terms of, nothing pastel, but let's lay out big, bold, conservative ideas to run on. I know a lot of people talk about a 1994 contract with America type of agenda. I think you're going to see something like that because a lot of our members care about the policies. It's not just how bad the Democrats are. And believe me, you could see everything from a border crisis to an inflation crisis to an energy crisis. There's a crisis of confidence in this administration. But then what are those bold conservative ideas that we would bring forward on the House floor if we were in the majority. I think those are the sort of things you're going to see us rolling out in these next few months to get people excited, not just about how bad the Democrats are. Right. The polling shows they already know that. What will we do?
So, and again, I'm cutting you off again. I used to play professional baseball, played for the Pirates. My weakness was a hard slider on the outside of the plate. I'm going to throw you a hard slider on the outside of the plate.
Let's go.
You take back the House. Donald Trump wants the gavel for Speaker of the House. What does Steve Scalise and what do the members say?
Well, I've talked to President Trump many times in this last year. And first of all, he's still very engaged. He wants to help us win back the House. Not one time has he said that he has any interest in coming back and being Speaker of the House. But he clearly wants to help us win the House. He held a big fundraiser for us in Tampa Bay just a few weeks ago, and we raised probably over $8 million at that event. It was a sold-out, packed event. Clearly, you know, the base of our party still loves what he's done. I think you can look back and say, you know, look at his policies. We wish we still had him in office right now. But, you know, in the end, I think he wants to help us get there. You know, what happens in 2024, nobody knows. But let's go get the House back, and then we'll see what happens after that.
All right. We're going to have to leave it there, but I, for one, would love the idea of Donald Trump being Speaker of the House, sitting behind Biden at the State of the Union.
I'll tell you what,
gaveling him in.
Baseball analogy,
fantastic.
He didn't come to the plate to bunt, I can tell you. You know, we're all going to be swinging for the fences.
That's true.
And,
That's true.
And this country needs us to be swinging for the fences and hit it to right field, because so far they've been going heavy left field to the foul
far
ball.
left. Congressman, I got to go. We're going to bring you back, but always great having you on, my friend. Thank you.
Great being with you in the new year, Eric.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.